Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the second segment of Spector's quarterfinal match in the 2022 USBCs. They're playing up against the Beatty team, and they got off to a small lead in their first segment. Let's jump into the hands and see what we have in store this time. So taking a look at the scorecard, it looks like Spector picked up a large number of imps in this segment. We note that Gavin Wilpert and Warren Spector have substituted in for John Kraniak and Vince DeMoy. And the Beatty team seems to be playing with the same 4 players. We don't know, again, if they have a 6-person team or not, but let's take a look at some of the hands. Let's take a look at board 19. This is quite a large number that was collected against 3 spades doubled in the open room. So let's see how that went down. Okay. So unfavorable in second seat, West opens 2 spades. I think this makes a lot of sense. There's no real better way to describe the hand. The 3-card heart suit never really concerned me, personally, as to whether or not I should be opening my spade suit preemptively. There is some case to be made for the fact that we are second seat, vulnerable against knot, that maybe this hand is not quite strong enough to preempt at the 2 level. Like, maybe we would want the Jack of Clubs or Jack of Diamonds to be the Jack of Spades, but I don't see any reason to do anything else. Sure, maybe partner expects a little more from us, but really how much trouble can we get into? I guess let's find out. North passes, and East bids 3 spades. That's a bid that might concern me a little bit. I understand the reason for it. Obviously, what we're saying is we want to preempt the auction further, partner open 2 spades. We have a fairly weak hand ourselves, so the opponents might have a game, in which case 3 spades might end the auction, we'll be able to buy the contract cheaply, and hopefully we can do okay in that contract. Now, East's hand actually looks very defensive as opposed to offensive to me. Both of those queens are good defensive cards, and they're terrible cards on offense in a spade contract, given that partner is preempted. The 10-9 of hearts, obviously good defensive cards as well. The Ace of Diamonds works both ways, but East doesn't have a spade on her, in which case I would be a little happier with the 3-spade bid, because then at least we would be telling partner that we have some spade support, so if the opponents do get to 3 no trump, West will be happy leading a spade. Yeah, so I think I would say the only bid that I could possibly fault in this auction would be 3 spades by East. I think it's reasonable to make this bid. We do strongly believe that if we pass in East's position, that South is going to come in with a double, or maybe balance with a new suit at the 3 level. It looks like from our perspective, probably clubs. And that'll probably get the opponents to their own part score. They will find their fit, and maybe they even reach a game that they otherwise might not be able to reach if we bid 3 spades. The negative is that if we do bid 3 spades, South could double here, as he does, which I think is a great bid. But also, the auction might just continue pass, and North doubles. It is definitely possible that North is sitting over there with 4 good trumps, considering we're looking at 8 high card points, partner has a weak hand, South couldn't open the bidding. North definitely has some values on this auction, and yet he wasn't able to come in over 2 spades when we have a large fit. That probably means he has spade length. So I do suspect that we are getting doubled a significant portion of the time, when we make this 3-spade bid. If that's the case, we probably don't want to be bidding in this auction given the vulnerability. If we were favorable, it might make a lot more sense, because then the opponents could have a difficult choice deciding whether to play in 3 no trump, for example, or defending 3 spades doubled. But here, with the colors reversed, where we're vulnerable and they're not, their game bonus is never going to make up for the fact that we're going for a large number in 3 spades. And it's possible that West has a good hand. It's certainly well within reach that West has ace, king, 6 of spades, and 4 diamonds to the queen, and therefore 2 cards in one of the round suits, 1 in the other. And even if spades split badly, we might escape for -200 in that kind of contract. But a hand like this feels much more normal to me. I mean, West queen of spades, even though it's a perfectly fine card, is not really carrying its own weight. So yeah, I think overall I'm not thrilled with the 3-spade bid. I think partner has done enough with 2 spades. Let's see how they handle the rest of the auction. But as it was, South balanced with a double, or pre-balanced with a double, I guess you could say. The way this kind of works is that South has a complete maximum for the auction so far, given that he's a passed hand. He has 9 high card points, but a bunch of 10s, a 9, and all of his honors are working, and he has the perfect shape for a takeout double of spades, which is a singleton spade. North understands that South is a passed hand, so that means North isn't going to get too excited and just leap to game with some mediocre 10 or 11 count. And in this case, North happened to have good defense. King Doubleton of Hearts is probably an excellent defensive asset because partner is expected to be long in hearts. The King Queen of Diamonds, of course, will provide a trick. The King of Clubs is a perfectly fine card, even though we expect partner to hold club length to go with ours. But the King Jack of Spades looks great, and given the vulnerability, I think this is a no-brainer. We definitely want to pass this and just collect as many tricks as we can on defense. So the question about what to lead at trick 1, I suspect the King of Hearts is going to be led. The King of Diamonds is certainly an option as well. That might be a safer lead, but the King of Hearts is a bit more ambitious. We might be hoping to get a heart ruff, and then we wouldn't need, for example, the Spade Queen to be in West's hand. We would then be protected against the Spade Queen from East. So we could still get our heart ruff and a spade trick. So let's see what Gavin decides to do. He goes with the safer route, leading the King of Diamonds. This also makes sense. There is some possibility that partner is missing both the Ace and Queen of Hearts, so the King of Hearts openly lead could blow a trick, although I suspect it's unlikely. And East's prospects on this hand look terrible, or West's prospects on this hand look pretty awful. We have 2 clubs to lose off the top. We have strong suspicion the heart finesse is not going to work, as in South holds the Jack of Hearts from the takeout double. So we have 2 clubs, a diamond, 3 hearts, and 2 spades. How many is that? Is that 8 tricks so far, which would be 4 down? And that would be 1100? Yikes. And I don't see how we can do any better, really. It seems like what we have to do is just play spade to the ace and then start playing on hearts and hope that something good happens, but let's see. Declare leads with 5 of spades to the ace and exits a diamond. Sure, we can obviously delay playing on hearts for a little while if we want. So North wins, returns a diamond to tap declare. We now exit in clubs. We're just delaying the inevitable here. Another club and a diamond through. North ruffs, cashes the King of Spades. He doesn't want to be end played in any way. And now switches to the King of Hearts. And after a heart through, that is 1100 for North-South. So yeah, it turns out that even after a 2-spade opening, when East passes that, South would still reopen with a double, and North has the option to sit that out for a score of 800, which maybe he would. This hand, again, looks very defensive, but it is possible that North might say, okay, I have these kings, I'm a little less certain about what's going on this hand, maybe I should try 3 no trump instead with what looks like 2 spade stoppers. In which case, North-South would only collect 400 points, or somewhere in that vicinity. Let's see what happened at the other table. Okay, so kind of an interesting point that I had brought up is that maybe West's hand isn't strong enough to open 2 spades. So South passes, and West here, Kevin Bathurst, decides that his hand just isn't strong enough for a 2 spade opener, for one reason or another. Now, my suspicion is that with 6-3-2-2 distribution, and if we discount both of these jacks, it feels like a 6 count, that second seat vulnerable maybe just isn't good enough. And for this reason, East-West were able to stay out of this auction completely and not get themselves in any trouble. North opens a no trump. He has 15 highs. South bets Stamen, and after not finding major suit fit, they reach 3 no trump. So East-West have already done exceptionally well in this deal. Let's take a quick look at the defense. I suspect we will see a opening heart lead, either the 10 or 9. I think they play roost node leads, so this would be the 9 of hearts. That's East's strongest suit. Even though you could say the Queen of Hearts is not as strong as the ace, the spots in the heart suit really make the difference. And we don't know which major suit South was showing when he tried to club Stamen to look for a fit. So since it easily could have been spades, there's no guarantee that we're leading into a 4-card heart suit in South's hand. Declare has, off the top, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, and I guess you could call it a diamond for 5 tricks, but surely the clubs will provide some extra tricks. So let's just see how Declare handles this. The contract doesn't seem to be in any danger, especially given the spade position that the opponents have. Declare tries the jack. This makes the most sense. The 9 of hearts lead promises the 10 and could have a higher honor. So the jack is just fishing around to see if that will draw out the queen or if this finesse is going to be successful. It holds. And now Declare leads a diamond towards his hand. I will say there are a lot of considerations on this one. Like, the heart suit is blocked, and we do want to be setting up clubs. Like, if this diamond lead goes to the king and ace, and a spade comes back to the ace, and a spade comes through, we would much rather have set up our club suit, I think. How many tricks would that give us? If we took 4 clubs, 3 hearts, 1 spade, and we would still need 1 diamond. So it looks like if clubs are 2-2, we can go after diamonds. If clubs are 3-1, then we need to set up a diamond trick anyway to get to our 9th trick. So, okay, this makes a lot of sense. We go after the trick that we need to set up and is a little more flexible in how we handle the clubs. The king of diamonds holds the trick, and now we go after clubs. There's no reason to try and play diamonds anymore. And I agree, we don't need to unblock the king of hearts yet. The ace of hearts is always an entry, so even if East shows out on this trick, we can just duck, put in the 10, and later use the ace of clubs as an entry to the stranded ace of hearts. When East follows small, the safe thing to do is to put in the 10 of clubs here. This will always guarantee we make our contract from this point, I think. Maybe it's not so clear because we haven't set up a spade or a diamond trick yet, but that seems like the safest play. The ace of clubs is definitely going for the most match points, even though this is an imp scoring system. But in this case, there's probably not much difference between the 2 plays. I suspect it's unlikely East has a 4-card club suit over here. So that could have been a consideration as well. Given the opening lead, at least, there was a heart, not a club. Declare plays a club back. Now he finds out the suit splits, and now it's pretty smooth sailing. We will want to try and set up an extra trick somewhere. Or maybe not. It seems like Declare could have led the Queen of Diamonds there, or almost anything else, and gone after setting up an extra trick in the diamond suit, for example. But it looks like he's just electing to cash out. Yep. And take his 9 tricks. As things turn out, he can now exit in diamonds, and he will be getting a spade in the end, as the opponents weren't able to save enough winners. But yeah, it looks like Declare could have done a little better job of getting over tricks, but that doesn't matter too much, and I'm not certain it was worth any imps either way. I'm a little unfamiliar with the score table. Let's see, is this? Nope. That is not the button I meant to click. Okay, well, so that's one of the hands that looked interesting to me. Let's jump back over to the scorecard. And that just kind of goes to show that when you're vulnerable, you do want to be a little careful about preempting. I think both East and West in the open room in this auction, the 2-spade opening bid was a little bit aggressive for the vulnerability. Again, I think it's reasonable to make this bid. The 3-spade bid, also a little bit aggressive for the vulnerability, and they immediately got punished in the worst possible way for it. So let's take a look at the scorecard again and see what other hands might be of interest. You know, something I haven't looked at yet is some of these games like board 26 where different game contracts were reached at both tables. So let's actually jump in and take a look at that. No imps were swung, but it is worthwhile to look at these hands and see maybe one of the games that was reached was actually superior to the other, or maybe they're about close, or it could be a systemic difference, that their bidding system didn't allow them to reach the more comfortable game. So South in this one opens a spade. He has 18 high card points. This looks pretty normal to me. The plan is to rebid 2 no trump, and we see just that happens. North bids a no trump. South bids 2 no trump to show 18 to 19 balanced with a 5 card spade suit, given the opening bid. Okay, so North's plan was actually to show a limit raise in spades, a 3 card limit raise. So he was going to bid a no trump, and then over, for example, a 2 club bid or a 2 diamond bid from South, he was planning to jump to 3 spades. At least that's what most experts play, to show the 3 card limit raise. And then when South bid 2 no trump, they are playing some sort of, I've forgotten the name of the convention. It's like a Laban-Solish type thing, but I've forgotten exactly what it's called, but 3 hearts is a transfer to spades, so North could either have a weak hand that just wants to sign off in 3 spades. That would be some sort of hand where he responded to no trump semi-forcing with 3 card spade support, but he didn't consider it strong enough to bid 2 spades directly. Or he could have a hand that looks like this. He has 3 card spade support and a limit raise. So once South completes the transfer with 3 spades, he now bids 4 spades and they get to their game. Okay, so South declares 4 spades. Let's take a look at the hands themselves. There appear to be no heart and club losers. There's 1 spade loser if the suit breaks 3-2. And we have a discard for one of the diamonds. A club could provide another discard, but regardless, if spades split 3-2 and the opponents don't get any sort of roughs going on, like it's possible that one of them is a singleton club which gets led, and then once the ace of spades is won, they get a club rough, then we'll have at most 2 diamond losers, even if we guess the suit poorly. So this contract looks quite nice overall. Let's take a look at how the play went. I think from West's seat, I would probably lead a club. My hope is that partner has a club trick. I have 2 aces, which brings our total up to 3 defensive tricks, and that I can get a club ruff. So that would basically mean that partner needs to hold the club ace, and he would need to guess to duck the opening lead, playing me exactly for a doubleton club. Other alternatives? This is a hand where I could see leading a low diamond. I think that's very reasonable. Given that we have diamond length and the spade ace under control, if partner is short in diamonds, then we might be able to give partner a diamond ruff. So on this hand, for example, if we lead a low diamond, then when we win the ace of spades, we can play ace of diamonds diamond, giving partner a diamond ruff. And if partner's queen of diamonds were the king, then we could lead a diamond to the king at trick 1, a diamond comes back, we give partner a diamond ruff, we have the ace of spades, we beat the contract. That will still be available if we choose to lead a club, on this particular deal at least. So we don't necessarily need to be that aggressive in this opening diamond lead immediately, but it's something to consider. Let's take a look at what West does. He just leads the 10 of clubs. Part of the difficulty in defending some of these hands is we want to be able to count to 4 defensive tricks. And seeing 2, you might think, well, if I get a club ruff, that's great. But for us to get a club ruff, partner needs to have an entry. So if East holds the club king and not the ace, North could just take a club finesse. East wins, plays a club back. We have no more clubs. And then when we get in with the spade ace, I'm talking from West's perspective here, when we get in with the spade ace, we won't be able to get to our partner's hand to get the club ruff. So that's one of the things that made me wonder if leading a low diamond was a more ambitious try to try and defeat this contract. There are, of course, other considerations as well. The 10 of spades could easily provide an extra defensive trick. Maybe partner has jack third in spades, and if declare has both the king and queen, then we have 2 natural spade tricks on defense, so we wouldn't want to riskily lead a diamond away from the ace, which could give up a trick, and instead we might prefer a safer lead like a harder club. Lots of possibilities. Let's just take a look at what actually happened now. So North wins in the dummy, and is probably going to lead a spade. Obviously, North can count everything I did earlier and sees that if he can just pull trumps and the spades break 3-2, he'll be able to discard one of his diamonds, and then even if he guesses the diamonds wrong, he'll still make his contract. So spade goes to the king and the ace, and another club comes. The 8 of clubs holds. That's peculiar to me, that we would win the 8. Because I thought we might want to use the king of clubs as a late entry to dummy, both to cash the 3rd heart and to try and take a diamond finesse later in the hand. And we can't really do that until we pull trumps, but we do want to cater for potential 4-1 trump splits. So I can't imagine we're going to lead the jack of spades next and then lead a spade to the queen. That also wouldn't work because we'd have to cash the ace of clubs before crossing. This feels like either a mistranscription by the VuGraph operator, or maybe this was just a mistake, or South could have pulled the wrong card. We don't really know. But yeah, this feels very strange. We definitely wanted to keep that entry to the dummy. Although in this case it doesn't really matter too much. With the jack of diamonds and dummy, we can afford to knock out both the ace and queen of diamonds by just leading diamonds from our hand. Let's see what ended up happening. Okay, now we're getting into the territory of Declare is not playing this hand all that well, I would say. It is 100% possible that East had 4 spades to the 10, and we could find that out by leading a spade towards the queen and taking a spade finesse. Now, if the jack of spades draws air from West's hand, we have a spade loser, and then we really better hope that we guess the diamonds correctly, because we've removed any possibility that we can get to dummy and discard diamonds on the king of clubs or the queen of hearts. But in this case, declarer is not punished for this line of play. And yep, pulling out all the stops here, declarer now realizes that he needs to unblock the ace of clubs before crossing to dummy. And he's going to need to unblock at one of the heart cards. And now he can cross to dummy safely, discard the king of hearts on the king of clubs, play 2 hearts, discarding 2 diamonds. Okay. Small inaccuracy here, although very unlikely that either of the opponents had a singleton heart on this auction. But eventually we get trumps pulled. 2 round suit cards are good and dummy to discard 2 of our diamonds. And we lose the ace of diamonds to take 11 tricks. So overall, this was a great contract to reach. We basically only need 3-2 spades for the contract to be almost entirely ice cold. And even if spades don't break, we have some possibilities of finessing the 10, assuming we play the correct honors from both hands in that scenario. And if that doesn't even work, then we can still guess the diamond suit towards the end of the hand, as long as we've saved an entry to dummy in the club suit. So overall, this contract had excellent chances of making. Let's see what happened at the other table. So this table is south open to spade, and north bid 2 spades, conventionally alerted as a constructive raise. Now this hand with 11 high card points, I understand it's not a great 11 high card points. We only have 1 king, so 1 control. We have a bunch of queens, which are heavily overvalued in the 4-3-2-1 point system. But the spade queen is great, and despite our 4-3-3-3 shape, the queen jack of hearts are working together, the king queen of clubs are working together. The jack of diamonds is really the only honor that's not really doing all that much for us. But I would tend to still show this as a 3-card limit raise, if I had that available systemically. Maybe North-South have done away with 3-card limit raises, and North would have been forced to bid, say, 3 spades, showing either a 3 or 4-card limit raise. In that case, I would say the hand is a little too weak, and I would probably opt for this constructive raise auction. But over this, South bid 3 no trump. That bid seems very reasonable to me. I mean, our hand can't be any more balanced, right? And we have stoppers in every other suit, the ace king of hearts, stoppers in our short suit, the ace of clubs, the king of diamonds. Now, there is something that argues against the 3 no trump bid, which is that we have a lot of aces and kings. Those are great in both no trump and in suit contracts, but they tend to be a little better in suit contracts. Because here, we know that we have no heart tricks in a spade contract, whereas in no trump, sure, we have 2 heart stoppers, but maybe the opponents have 2 spade stoppers, and guess who gets to set up their suit first? Well, the opponents have the opening lead. So I wonder if they have any sort of systemic bids over 2 spades, like was it possible for South to bid 2 no trump as an asking bid to get more information out of their partner's hand? That may have been my choice, although I'm kind of inclined to think that maybe just bidding 4 spades would be a good choice. And the reason for that is that we don't really want to go through asking auctions and convey a lot of information about both of our hands, both our hand and our partner's hand, to the opponents before they make their opening lead. That will help them pinpoint exactly which suit to lead, and it's easily possible that West was planning to lead a heart against a 4-spade contract, but when partner tells us that he has nothing in clubs and needs help in that suit, now West is going to instead lead a club. We can see that that will set up 2 tricks for them, and that might be just what they need to make the defeat the contract. So concealing information by jumping to game has a lot of merits in these kinds of auctions, especially when your high card point strength is on the low end of what you might need for a game to make. In this case, given the constructive raise and not the limit raise, we would expect North to have something like 8 high card points, 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 high card points. And opposite our 18, that does put us at around 26 or 27, which is the bare minimum for a game contract. Well, let's take a look at 3 no trump. I imagine West is probably going to lead a diamond. He has a 5-card suit. He does. And after this opening lead, we can take a look at our prospects. We have 3 clubs and 3 hearts. And this opening diamond lead's giving us a trick, so that's 7. We're absolutely going to need to set up spades to make our contract. And if East has the spade ace, and West happens to have ace-queen 5th of diamonds, then we're in trouble. Because then East would get in, after this opening diamond lead, a diamond would come through our king, and West would run 4 diamond tricks. Barring that, our contract is pretty cold. I guess it's also possible that East has ace double 10 of diamonds, West has queen 5th, and West has the spade ace. Otherwise, we'll have our 3 hearts, 3 clubs, 1 diamond, and 2 spades just by forcing out the ace. So this contract also looks like it's probably going to make most of the time. There is also the additional consideration that the opponents aren't always going to be leading diamonds against this auction, so we have that going for us. Overall, it actually does look like 3 no trump is a slightly better contract than 4 spades at first glance. But in this case, nothing is really going to stop DeClara from making a bunch of tricks here. The queen of diamonds is going to get played at trick 1, and that's going to give DeClara a couple of stoppers. Now we can just safely force out the spade ace. After the ace and a diamond, DeClara can claim the rest once the spades come in. East even discarded a spade, helping DeClara out a little bit. So, okay. Yeah, so it looks like that's some representative deals from the second segment. In this segment, Spector picked up 25 imps. Again, a pretty sizable swing in the match. So I forget exactly how much they won in segment 1. Let's see, I can click over here. Oh, they picked up 25 imps in segment 1 as well. So now they're 50 imps ahead going into the 3rd segment of the match. And that's going to do it for my coverage of the 2nd segment. Join me again tomorrow as I look at the 3rd segment of this exciting match. See you then.